Very intuitive, very easy to use.
In the beginning, I was skeptical. I was like, I don't know if I need it or do I need it? I'll tell anybody, you need it.
Workiz.
Workiz.
Online bookings for us are huge using Workiz. When a customer books, we get all the information, we get a ping to our phone, and then we can add it to the schedule and take care of that customer.
Doing my research, I was looking at software, that was all inclusive, invoicing, estimating, and it's been awesome.
It keeps everything in track. People's names, addresses, whatever, you need it.
It's helpful, especially now that we're a multi-truck operation, and as we get bigger, a lot of the Workiz benefits become more pronounced.
You couldn't do it without it. You'd be losing emails, you'd be losing addresses. Like I could work off this now and have everybody's name and address. I can send them Christmas cards. I can send them holiday, whatever.
We have call recording turned on, so when our techs give the customer a call when they're 20 minutes away, we can listen in on those calls. We see when the truck arrives. We can attach photos for the job of how it goes. It's also our CRM, so when we want to send out email marketing, we have that list straight from Workiz to export, and then we can reach all our customers easily.
It's your contact list. That's not over here, over here, over here. No, it's right here all the time.
Hey everybody, welcome to a Junk Removal Authority live stream, part of the JRA webinar series presented by Workiz. And today's a very neat episode. I always enjoy these times where we get to interact with other business owners. And this particular one has been in business for several years now. He's been a client of JRA's for several years on the digital marketing side of things, and he's built up a great business. And I want to talk to him about his journey, some of the challenges that he's encountered, some of the things that he's done to help him get to where he is now, and also talk about from the aspect of if he were to go back and restart, what would he have told himself back then, and what kind of things would he tell a prospective junk removal business owner now before they got in. So he's an excellent business owner. He's got a great company going that gives him some flexibility in his life, and we're going to talk about that on this show. And that individual is Mr. Tyler Baker. Tyler is the owner of Valley Junk Removal in Huntsville, Alabama. So let's bring Tyler on and let's hear a little bit about his story. So how you doing, Tyler?
Hey, thanks for having me.
Man, it's great. I appreciate you being on here. So we're going to let some people kind of jump on and join here in a moment. Everything's live and up and running. Is that right, Neb?
Yeah, everything's live.
Excellent. Okay. So Tyler, I'd like to talk a little bit about you and the company that you've built up, because you've done some pretty incredible things. If you'd start out, can you give us just a little bit of background on your business, when you started it and where you're located and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, so we're located in Huntsville, Alabama, which is North Alabama. We started January of 2021. So almost 3 years ago now. I started it part-time because I was working a full-time job back in 2021 as a police officer. So I was kind of doing both and then transitioned full-time 2022.
Excellent. That sounds good. And tell me a little bit about how has the journey been? And I guess what were you doing before we get into that? What were you doing prior to that? And why did you choose to get into junk removal?
Yeah, so I was working as a police officer for the city of Huntsville. I was in the military, and then I went into law enforcement. And honestly, the way I got into it was I was cleaning out my garage. I was actually moving, and I went and I rented a dump trailer. And then I kind of just got that idea from cleaning out my own garage when I was moving of, hey, this could actually be a business. And I kind of started doing some research on YouTube, just looking at other people doing it. And that's kind of how I got that idea of starting a junk removal company.
And were you still a police officer when you started the business?
I was for about a year.
So about a year you were a police officer. And how did you come to the decision that you were going to be able to stop doing your full-time job and go full-time in junk removal?
Yeah, so that decision was pretty easy. I got to the point where every day when I was going to work, I was losing money. So by going to work as a police officer, I was actually losing money. So at that time, I decided, hey, it's time to go ahead and resign and then go into junk removal full-time.
So when you say you were losing money, do you mean you could have just been making more money by doing your junk removal business rather than being a police officer?
Yeah, because I got to the point where I had turned away work, and I had turned down jobs just because we were so busy. So yeah, I had turned away money. So
I got you. Okay. Well, that's great. And if somebody's got a full time job now and they're looking at either starting a junk removal company or they've already started one, how do they know when it's time for them to transition off the truck or from away from their full time job to full time in junk removal?
So what I like to say is, like obviously, I think number one thing is you got to be making enough money to cover your expenses.
Hmm.
So that's the biggest thing, And I tell everybody, you got to get lean. All those extra expenses you have every single month, get lean, cut them out, and kind of live off the bare minimum for as long as possible. That way
Hmm.
you can save money. That way, when you do make the transition, it's easy. And then you'll know when it's time. Once you're supplementing enough money through the business, then it's time to leave that
And
full time.
what was your first year like when you first started your junk removal company in terms of how busy were you and kind of what was the day to day like and what might be what somebody could expect when they first get a junk removal company started?
Yeah. So I like to tell everybody. So we started January of 2021.
Hmm.
I call the first 6 months kind of just like a trial period.
Hmm.
Um, we had a truck and like a home built trailer that we actually built by hand. Um, we didn't do a lot of marketing, just kind of friends, neighbors, family members, just stuff like that to kind of get the ball rolling. And that's when I realized, like, hey, yeah, this could work. And we actually didn't start with JRA on website and Google Ads and SEO until June. So for the first 6 months, there was no marketing, and every dollar we made, we just put it straight back into the business. Come June of 2021 is when we started marketing heavily. In the first month, we did $32,000. And from that June to December, I think we did about $160,000 that first 6 months of really
Wow.
getting into it.
And how many trucks are you guys running now?
So right now we have 3 trucks.
And tell us a little bit about. So you have a 3 truck junk removal company, which you're at the point now. I was telling somebody earlier today. A good sized junk removal company is 3, 4 trucks. Like if you get to be to the point where you're a 4 truck operator, there are a very small percentage of junk removal companies that ever make it there. There's a very small percentage that ever make it to 2 or 3 trucks. But you're right at that cusp of going from a 3rd truck to a 4th. You think you'll do that within this year, the next year?
Um, Not necessarily for Huntsville, but the second location, we're definitely like we need more trucks for another location.
Okay,
So yeah.
excellent. And can we talk a little bit about that second location here in a bit? Where you're going to be going and all?
Yeah, so we're going to be opening up a second location in Nashville the beginning of next year.
Excellent. I want to talk in a second about some of the stuff that you've done to prepare yourself for opening up into Nashville. But what is your day to day like right now? You've got a 3 truck operation. What's Tyler Baker doing every single day?
Yeah, so it's not been easy to get to this point, and some days are still a struggle. But for the most part, just office operations, keeping up with the guys, making sure they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. Um, I do a lot of the quoting myself on big jobs. So
Okay.
all the bigger jobs, I go out, I take a look at those, give those quotes. Um, and then really a lot of it's just office work, and there's also a lot of, flexibility and downtime, which is a big reason I got into this.
Excellent. And you mentioned something a second ago where you talked about even some days are a struggle now. Can you elaborate a little bit on that? What do you, from time to time, just what kind of struggles do you encounter with running your company?
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing is probably manpower, making sure we have enough guys. So even though I'm majority in the office, I do still go out on the truck because I'm the type of guy that if we get jobs coming in, I'm gonna make sure they get done. So even
Mm-hmm.
if I have to go out there and get them done, I do. So of course, there's a lot of running, might do a few jobs and then get back in the office, finish up on paperwork and, invoicing, getting payments and whatever.
Excellent. Okay. And The obviously you mentioned you had some flexibility. What were some things that you had to do to gain some flexibility in your business, and how long did it take you to do those things to get to the point where you are now?
Yeah, so the biggest thing to get that flexibility is hiring good people that know what they're doing. So my guys are super, super good. I can send them out on a job. They can quote the job, get the job taken care of, get payment, everything from all the way point A to point Z. That way I don't have to worry about anything. So that, really frees up a lot of space when you have guys that, they know what they're doing. So training is a big, big part of it and making sure that they're well trained.
All right. So you've got something a lot of business owners struggle with. We hear it and have seen it with junk doctors, especially over the last handful of years. Now we're in a pretty good position right now during the slow season. We've had junk doctors that's been open 12 years now, so we've had some guys been with us for 6 or 7 years at this point. So I wouldn't say a struggle right now for us is help, but that is a new occurrence as of the last few months. Prior to that, and I would expect as we get into spring, it'll become an issue again. But prior to that, it's definitely been an issue. And I'm curious, you said you've got a good team. How do you go about finding the people that are part of your team?
Yeah, so we've done all kinds of different things to really find employees, all the way from online bulletin boards to, Facebook and just reaching out to people. And I think that's been our biggest is just our sphere of influence and reaching out and saying, hey, we're hiring. If you know anybody, share our posts, that kind of stuff. And we've hired a lot of people like that, and it's ended up, generating really good employees for us.
So these are people that you just know from your experience or from your connections or your friends' connections or your other employees' connections. Like, where are these people kind of coming from?
Correct. So a lot of them come from other people that, like my friends that share our post, and then they know someone that, oh, this person's looking for a job. So they send them our way. So we get a lot from that.
And training wise, what are some stuff that you do to get them trained up so they know what they're doing?
So I mean, every business is different, I think for sure. Me personally, and I can do this because again, I have the flexibility to do it, but anytime we hire someone new, I personally train them myself and I go out, I ride on the truck with them, I show them exactly how everything should be done the way I would do it myself. And that's big for me is I like being out there with them.
You feel like if having the owner involved is going to help make sure that you maintain a high quality, with your clients. Is that something that's very important to you?
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Okay. And what kind of pay structure do you have for most of your team members? Is it strictly hourly, or are you guys doing any type of commission program?
Yeah, so they do just hourly rates, and then of course they get tips too, which is pretty big.
Well, how much can tips normally add up to?
It's funny you said that. So I was just looking yesterday. They got just one truck team got $300 in one day in tips.
Wow. So 150. So two guys split $300 in tips.
Yep, 150 each.
Yeah, that's definitely pretty solid right there. So, guys,
Yeah.
if you guys have any questions you'd like to ask Tyler, please feel free to post them in the comments. Again, this is Tyler Baker, Valley Junk Removal, Huntsville, Alabama, and he is also opening up in Nashville, Tennessee. New company's name for Nashville is going to be Junk Grabbers. And while we are talking about Nashville, I'm curious why you're expanding now. Why are you choosing to expand? And why did you choose Nashville? What were some things that you really looked into and kind of thought about before you decided to move in to a new market?
Yeah, definitely. So, the reason we're deciding to expand is because we've kind of reached a spot in Huntsville that Huntsville's not a huge, huge city. Our metro is only about 500,000 people.
Mhm.
And we've done really good and we've built up a very good brand pretty quick. And the growth is just kind of slowing down. We're still growing, but it's
Mhm.
slower. So we've decided that it'd be best to just go ahead and expand. And we've chose Nashville because it's about 2 hours north of Huntsville.
Mhm.
And it's really, really good market. It's a growing city. Um, Real estate has really taken off in Nashville, which in returns, junk removal does better. Um, and there's a lot of money in Nashville.
So, do you have somebody already hired that's going to go to Nashville, open this up, or are you yourself going to go there and open it up?
Yeah, so I'm going to Nashville the beginning of the year to get it open and boots on the ground.
And are you going to be going back and forth between Huntsville and Nashville? Or are you pretty much going to be exclusively in Nashville?
I'll be just in Nashville.
So you must have you've got a pretty solid GM in place in Huntsville.
Yeah, so I have a partner that
Okay.
I brought on for Nashville, but he'll actually stay in Huntsville. He'll run Huntsville, and then I'll run Nashville for now.
I got you. I understand. Nashville's a neat city. That's a cool spot to move to. You excited
Yep,
about it?
Music City.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. Okay. So the going into Nashville, you've been open since 2021. You've seen the industry even since 2021 kind of shift. What's it been like in your local market? Well, how are you thinking the junk removal industry might be changing? Are you thinking it's changing? And in your local market, have you seen new competitors pop up? What have you observed over the last few years since you've been open?
Yeah, so just locally here in Huntsville, when we opened, we were like the second company to open up in Huntsville. And then about a year after we opened, we had two franchises come right after that.
Hmm.
So Huntsville's kind of got saturated at this point.
Hmm.
And what we've seen, I think everyone knows that the economy is slowing down for sure. It's not as busy, but it's still busy.
Hmm.
Um, and a lot of these other guys, I've just seen that they're like really, really slow, and they're not outrunning as much as they were before. But we have kind of stayed good. We've stayed growing month after month, um, which I think is because of just how much marketing we do and how much yard signs and door hangers and sticky notes and all that we actually go out there and do.
What all kinds of marketing are you doing now?
So of course we do Google Ads, we do SEO, and then everything else is kind of just like really, kind of organic. Um, Facebook, we post a lot, we share a lot. We have a really good following there. And then we do, truck advertising. We do uh, door hangers, yard signs, sticky notes, that kind of stuff.
How many yard signs are you typically putting out?
So
Is that
we
something
try to
you're
do,
focused on?
yeah. So we try to do them like on the weekends because here in Huntsville, they're kind of strict about like where yard signs are.
Yep.
So like you can put them out on the weekends, you got to pick them up though. So we try to go out. Sometimes we'll put 15, 20, 25 yard signs out.
Is that something you're regularly doing? I mean, that's a lot of work to go put out yard signs and then go back and actually take them up. Is that something that you do on a regular basis?
Honestly, I wouldn't say regular. When it
Mhm.
gets slower, we're a little bit better about doing it because I think you have more time.
Yeah, yeah,
But when you're really, really, really busy, it's hard. But I think you should do it all the time because it's about being consistent.
100%. So on the digital side of things, you do Google Ads, SEO, the kind of that whole shebang. You mentioned Facebook. Are you doing paid Facebook ads?
We have before. I've not seen a lot of great stuff come from it,
Yeah.
but I have seen a lot of success from just doing regular Facebook posts, and then sharing them on Facebook and asking our friends and family to share, and then they'll share, and then it never fails. Someone will see it and be like, "Man, I need my garage cleaned out. I didn't know that your friend did that or whatever," and they call us up.
So it's definitely more of kind of a social sharing thing rather than
Yeah,
paid ads being
yeah,
the
kind of
drive.
more like organic, I guess you could
Hmm.
say.
Okay, excellent. And where do you like? What's your goals for your junk removal business? Do you kind of have like a 5 year plan that you set or a 10-year plan on where you want your company to go?
Yeah, I think the big thing is, again, I got into business because I wanted to be more free. I wanted more flexibility. Being a police officer, it's a very demanding job. Um,
Mhm.
Long hours, a lot of days, 7 days a week, working holidays. I worked third shift, I worked seconds. So my big thing is, build a big company now and put in the time now and build it to run itself. That way down the road, it'd be kind of more like passive income, I guess you could say, and just
Mhm.
kind of sit back and enjoy the benefits.
Excellent. And we see a lot of police officers and military veterans that start a junk removal company. Is there something within that background that gives you an advantage, or something you learn from being a police officer or military that has led you that you apply kind of on a daily basis within your junk removal company?
Um, I don't, I wouldn't say that there's like a reason that I have seen as well. A lot of them go into junk removal. I don't know
Mhm.
exactly why junk removal.
Mhm.
But I would say that it definitely gives you a kind of like a head start of, being self-disciplined. That's the biggest thing is, being a business owner and running a business, you need so much self-discipline to be able to do it. So I think, that helps out a lot from the military and police department.
So expand a little bit on that in terms of what type of discipline do you need as a business owner? You mentioned you got into this to be kind of create freedom. Why do you all why do you need discipline? What things kind of occurred that where you need that?
So, what I always say is if the phone's not ringing, you're not making money. And when the phone does ring, it doesn't matter what time it is, you better answer.
Hmm.
Um, and a lot of that kind of stuff takes self-discipline. So if you're at the dinner table on Sunday with your family and the phone rings, you need to answer that phone call. Um,
Hmm.
and not everyone's going to do that. And, that's where people are cut different.
Hmm.
At the end of the day, my family comes first, but, I got to feed my family also.
Right.
Um, so it doesn't matter what time it is, I answer the phone. I get phone calls all the time on Sunday at 6:30. Hey, I need this picked up today. And I'll go to the office, I'll jump in a truck and I'll go get it on a Sunday at 6:30 at night just so I don't lose the customer. Um, and all that, that takes a lot of self-discipline to do that because
Hmm.
most people would try to book it for Monday or book it for a day they're available. But me, if I'm heading home, after a long day and someone calls and it has to be done that day, I'll turn
Hmm.
around, go back to the office and grab a truck and go get it.
How important are same and next day pickups in the junk removal industry?
Super, super big. So what will happen is you'll get people that will call and they'll schedule and they'll say, well, I really need it done today. And
Hmm.
you'll say, well, can I put you down for tomorrow? And they'll go, okay, if that's all you have. Well, by the next day, when you call them that you're on the way, a lot of times they'll cancel on you. So it's definitely important. Same day, next day at the worst. That way, you can turn it into a customer and make sure they don't go with someone else that can get out there sooner.
Single item pickups. You mentioned you jump on same and next day appointments. There's a lot of junk removal business owners out there that sort of struggle with single item pickups because even if you have a minimum of like 150, by the time you get out there and you load it up, there's not a ton of extra money to be had there unless you're able to kind of stack several single items in a row. What's your approach on single item pickups? Is that something that you guys will take care of, or if you notice that it's sort of far away, you'll just kind of skip over it and tell the customer you're not going to do it? How do you approach those single item jobs?
Yeah, so we don't skip any jobs. No job gets skipped. It doesn't matter where it's at. We're going for it.
Mhm.
What I try to do personally is early in the morning and later in the afternoon for single item pickups. That way we can either knock them out early or knock them out at the end of the day
Mhm.
and save the bigger jobs for the rest of the day.
Mhm.
But they're great. I mean, and it's about repeat business. And I can't tell you how many times we've done a single item pickup, like a couch, a bed, and it turns into a full house clean out months down the road.
Do you ever go to a single item job and actually the customer adds stuff on to it, like at that very moment as well?
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
I saw recently One Andrews Got Junk is running a promo right now for a $59 mattress pickup. Have you seen that going around?
Yeah, I have. I've thought about that myself. We haven't done that just because I think people are happy to pay our price for the single item,
Mhm.
but I definitely do see how that could kind of get your foot in the door.
Yeah, I think
If
it's
you're
just one
still,
mattress too. I think you have to pay like another like $30 or something if you want to add a box spring. And I
that's
think
right.
what their approach is get into the house and then try and see if there's anything else. It's like, hey Tyler, we're here already. Do you have an old couch or some old boxes in your garage or attic or something like that you'd like us to go up and get? Because hey, since we're already on site, it's cheaper if we go in and pick it up now rather than later. That's my
Yep.
suspicion of what they're doing. It's kind of like a lost leader in a way.
Yeah, and we've even went out for, like single item pickups, and then, they have like old shed out back or something that's fallen
Mhm.
down. And we
Yep.
tell them like, hey, also we do demo work, we tear down sheds, and they say, oh, can you give me a quote? $1,500 job like that.
That's great. Yeah, we got another company that we work with that gets a lot. They do interior demo, which a lot of junk removal companies do not do interior demolition, but the exact same thing. They go and they remove stuff, and every so often something will come up. Why are you looking to why are you getting rid of the stuff? And they'll say, oh, we're about to redo this room, and then they'll pitch the interior demo, and they do pretty well with it. So there's
Yeah.
definitely for the people that are willing to kind of do more than junk removal. I think there's some opportunity to, as you get in front of people's homes, to find other projects around their house that you can certainly tackle. And some people have done really, really well with that. They've kind of vertically integrated. And kind of along that same line, I know you recently got your real estate license. Why did you choose to get your real estate license?
Yeah, so real estate's always kind of been a thing I want to get into. Again, kind of going back towards like passive income. I'm big about trying to build that.
Mhm.
And I've been blessed to be put in a spot that I've had enough flexibility that I could go and get my real estate license.
Mhm.
Um, and it's not talked about a lot, and this isn't me telling people, everybody should go do it.
Mhm.
Um, but there's a lot of opportunities also when it comes to real estate for junk removal business owners, because you're seeing all the houses before anyone else. So we also buy and flip properties on the side. I do.
Have you found some flips from your junk removal jobs?
Yeah, that's where they've all came from.
Really? Yeah,
Yep.
that's interesting. So, is that are you when you're doing the flip? Are you buying them, fixing them up? Are you ever doing like a rental deal with it, or are you always turning around and reselling them?
Yeah, so right now, everything I do, I have partners for, and we
Okay.
just buy and flip. We sub it all out, so we don't do any other work. We just buy them,
Mhm.
hire subcontractors, they do all the work, and then we sell it. Pretty simple.
Do you do any type of referral kind of recommendation or referral fee for any of your team members, or are you yourself identifying the prospects for these flips, kind of right off the bat, or when you go out there and quote like a big job or something?
Yeah, so I have thought about doing like a referral type thing, but right now it's kind of been myself finding them,
Mhm.
because those houses are usually on the bigger jobs. They call and say, "Hey, I got this full house clean out." So usually I find them myself.
Excellent. So we talked about your business, kind of where you wanted to get to earlier, and I don't think we got a ton of detail there, which is good. Um, Personally, though, you got a lot going on. How do you balance everything? You got junk removal, you got real estate, you're expanding in new markets. I believe you have a daughter. Like, as you as a business owner, do you balance all of that?
Um, it's rough. The biggest thing I would say is, my wife. She's a blessing in herself. She really supports me in every decision I make.
Mhm.
And without that, that's a really, really big help. And then from there, it's hiring good team members, because you can't do it all by yourself. So, finding those good team members that, are trustworthy and you can put them in key roles to help you out. That's the biggest thing.
Excellent. And what would you tell someone looking to get into the junk removal business now?
Um, the biggest thing, don't think it's going to be easy,
Mhm.
because it's not easy, but it's a great business to be in if you're going to put in the work. If you're a person that can put in the work, you'll see the reward.
Put in the work for a long enough period of time. So that's, I think some people they think it's, this is really easy to get into because it's a pretty inexpensive truck and you don't have to have a lot of technical knowledge. But they're not counting for the acquisition costs on getting a customer and all the expenses that go into running a day-to-day business. So we see a lot of people that think it should be like super simple and the profits roll in. And it's simply not that. The guys that we see are successful are the ones that have the discipline like you were talking about, that no matter if they've got 0 jobs on the schedule or 10 jobs on the schedule on a given day, they're going out and they're putting in a full day's worth of work. At least to get everything established. So, a couple years, in a few years, you can start getting some of the flexibility that you have talked about. But initially, you got to really get out there and hustle to make it happen.
Yeah, that's what I tell everybody is for the first 12 months, I didn't take a single penny from the business. So to go out there and work as hard as I worked for 12 months and not make a penny, that's a lot of self-discipline right there, so. But again, everyone thinks it's just, easy, but, some days can be easy, but, they're far and few, especially in the beginning. It gets easier as time goes.
Well, excellent. And you've been working with JRA now for a few years, I think June of 2021. Is that right? Is that when
Yep.
it started? So how's that experience been?
Yeah, it's been great. So our website, it's highly ranked in our area. And then we do the Google ads and we do SEO, and I'm super happy with both. I mean, we see a lot of customers in both. And I was actually looking at the numbers right before we jumped on this webinar. Our organic has like really shot up. It's getting to that point that, we're seeing the return on the SEO. A lot of people, they get wary about SEO because you don't see it up front. So they're spending the money and they're not seeing the return, but it's about the long-term investment.
Yeah, it really is long-term because it's not like it's even 6 months anymore. I mean, you should, in 6 months' time, you should be getting some traffic to your page. Junk Removal is consistent enough now, though. People have to understand is all the other companies that are out there, you're going up against them, and especially if they've been open longer than you have. If they're doing SEO, you're having to, catch them and do it a little better than them to surpass them. So it's like a moving target. So it's 2 years. You mentioned it's now finally hitting that area where you want to be, and it's been a 2-year process to get you there. That patience is something that's pretty rare. And I would say that's why you're one of the top kind of performers since 2021 in terms of growth and all in the junk removal industry. A lot of that's doing the right things and being patient about it.
Yep.
Well, excellent. Well, Tyler, I've asked you a bunch of questions. Is there anything that I should have asked that I didn't that would be valuable to the people that watch this video?
I'd say one more thing too, kind of like a little tip is as soon as you're able to order a junk removal truck, go ahead and order one. Because change them from a truck and a trailer to an actual junk removal truck is game changer. That was one of the biggest moves we made, and I wish we would have did it sooner.
That's great. What advantage did you have in a regular truck over a trailer?
Yeah, so the big thing is when you're hiring people, if you're hiring, you got to trust them to be able to drive a truck and a trailer. And I'm pretty good myself, but driving a truck and a trailer 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, eventually something's going to happen. So, you're taking a lot of risk, especially once you start hiring other employees to do it. And with those Isuzu cabovers, anybody can drive them. They're super simple.
Hey guys, Tyler has gotten a couple trucks from us over at junkremovaltrucksforsale.com, especially truck bodies. So if you guys are looking for a truck, we do have some in stock, and we've got some availability as early as first of next year. So if you're looking for a truck before busy season, just give us a call. You can talk with Bud, and he'll get you kind of squared up on a junk removal truck. Anything else, Tyler?
That's it.
Well, man, I appreciate you jumping on this, and hope everybody that was watching found some good, valuable information from it. Looking forward to seeing you go into Nashville and helping you any way we can.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me.
All right, guys, appreciate everybody for watching. This is the JRA webinar series presented by Workiz. We have Mr. Tyler Baker, Valley Junk Removal out of Huntsville, soon to be opening up Junk Grabbers out of Nashville. He came on here, provided a lot of great information. And if we can help you out in your junk removal company with digital marketing services, or if you're looking to open through our business package and consulting, head on over to JRA.com. On the YouTube channel, click subscribe. We put out a lot of great content, and click that alarm bell. You'll get notified every time we post something. Appreciate you guys watching, and we will see you next time. I'm Lee Godbold with Junk Removal Authority, where we help junk removal business owners make more money, live a better life. See you next time.
Very intuitive, very easy to use.
In the beginning, I was skeptical. I was like, I don't know if I need it or do I need it. I'll tell anybody, you need it.
Workiz.
Workiz.
Online bookings for us are huge using Workiz. When a customer books, we get all the information, we get a ping to our phone, and then we can add it to the schedule and take care of that customer.
Doing my research, I was looking at software, that was all inclusive, invoicing, estimating, and it's been awesome.
It keeps everything in track. People's names, addresses, whatever, you need it.
It's helpful, especially now that we're a multi-truck operation, and as we get bigger, a lot of the Workiz benefits become more pronounced.
You couldn't do it without it. You'd be losing emails, you'd be losing addresses. Like I could work off this now and have everybody's name and address. I could send them Christmas cards. I could send them holiday, whatever.
We have call recording turned on, so when our techs give the customer a call when they're 20 minutes away, we can listen in on those calls. We see when the truck arrives. We can attach photos for the job of how it goes. It's also our CRM, so when we want to send out email marketing, we have that list straight from Workiz to export, and then we can reach all our customers easily.
It's your contact list. That's not over here, over here, over here. No, it's right here all the time.